Shalom, my friends. I'm Samuel.
And I'm Shoshana.
And today we're going to tell you a story about origins.
Today's origin story is about a family without a child and the son God gave them named Samuel.
You see, there was a man in the hill country of Israel named Elkanah, and he had a wife named Hannah, and she didn't have a baby. Now, he loved Hannah very much, and one year when they were at the temple and Hannah was sad, she started to pray to God.
God, if you will notice me, remember and not forget me, and give me a son, I will give him to you, and he will be yours always.
Do you think God heard her prayer? He did. And she had a baby, and she named him Samuel.
Hey, that's your name.
Hey, you're right. I must be named after him or something. You know, when Samuel was a little bit older, his mom kept her promise. She took him to live at the temple and to serve God. And she was so happy that she said a prayer to God.
My heart is happy in God. My strength is given by God. I can speak over my enemies because I am happy in God's salvation. There is no one holy like God. No one besides you, God. There is no rock like our God.
Samuel served God, and he lived at the temple with a priest named Eli. He got to see his mom, Hannah, every year when she came to the temple, and she always made him a little robe and brought it to him so that he could wear. Now, even though Samuel had to live away from his family, he got to be with God all the time, but he still didn't know God's voice yet. So one night while he was asleep in the temple, by the Ark of the Covenant where God would appear, God called to him, but he ran to Eli the priest.
Here I am. You called me.
I didn't call you, Eli replied. He said, go back and lie down. And so he went back and lay down. And again, God called, Samuel! Samuel got up and ran to Eli.
Here I am. You called me.
But Eli didn't call him. I didn't call my son. Go back and lie down. Samuel didn't know God yet, even though he was in his presence. Presence means to be with someone. So see, I'm in Shoshana's presence, but unless we talk and become friends, we don't really know each other. It was the same with Samuel and God, but God wanted Samuel to know him. So for a third time, God called to Samuel, but Samuel went back to Eli.
Here I am. You called me.
Then Eli understood that God was calling to Samuel, and so he said, go and lie down. If he calls you again, then you should say, speak, God, for your servant is listening. So Samuel went back to lie down, and God came and stood beside him, and he said, Samuel, Samuel! And Samuel remembered what Eli told him.
Speak, for your servant is listening.
And God gave Samuel a special message. He was a young boy, and it was his first time being with God, but God still trusted him with a message.
Do you know who that young boy grew up to be? A great prophet, or a person that gives messages to other people for God. God used him to crown the first king, Saul, and to find the great King David. God spoke to him his whole life.
And that's how Samuel's story began. You know, there are many stories about Samuel, and you can read them in the book of Samuel in the Bible, or you can come back again sometime and hear more.
Thank you for joining us, my friends. Shalom.
Shalama!